Being safe is one of the most primordial desires for human beings. Entire civilizations have been built and can owe their growth on the simple premise of being safe. Safe from predators, safe from hunger and thirst, safe from enemies, safe from material decline, safe from annihilation itself. So what then is the safest place on Earth? To ask such a question is a tall order, to say the least. What is the benchmark being sought? Being safest from what? Is it being safe from personal danger? Is it safe from hunger or thirst? Or is it being safe from being killed or maimed due to war or strife? It's a very loaded question, but we're going to give it our best shot. We believe it could be Antarctica. Yes, you heard that right, the most southern continent on the planet, not to mention the coldest place on Earth, may well be the safest place in the world. How did we come to this cool deduction, if you pardon the weak pun? Let us commence our justification of Antarctica as the safest place on Earth with the one possible event that continues to terrify people around the world: thermonuclear war. A world war with nuclear weapons, or even a regional one for that matter, will almost certainly result in ecological and human devastation worldwide. Enter Antarctica. Computer modeling shows that Antarctica is about as far as you can go should atomic annihilation ever occur. Not only is it remote, it was also the site of the world's first nuclear arms agreement in 1959. The Antarctic Treaty banned the detonation of all nuclear weapons and designated the continent as a space for peaceful research. That's in stark contrast, by the way, to its northern counterpart, the Arctic Circle. Not only is the North Pole dangerously close to nuclear powerhouses like the United States and Russia, but it has already been used as a nuclear hotspot thanks to Project Iceworm, which was a huge American nuclear facility buried deep within the Arctic Circle during the Cold War. It was abandoned in 1966, so the Arctic Circle is already full of abandoned toxic waste and radioactive coolants. Not so Antarctica. Let's make it more personal. What about murder? Antarctica is of course not a country according to the United Nations, so it doesn't even feature on the list of countries ranked according to murders. Monaco is best of that list, by the way, but to date, only one case of possible homicide has been investigated on Antarctica when a cook attacked a fellow cook with a hammer at the US McMurdo's station in 1996. And even then, it's not sure if it was a murder. There was also the strange case of a scientist stationed in Antarctica who made believe did not commit suicide in 2007, but then again murder was never proved. Personal property is also safe on the Great White Continent. Robbery is almost non-existent in Antarctica. Nearly everyone lives temporarily on Antarctica, and so they can't bring much there. And there's almost no use for money. What does one spend it on? And personal safety becomes so much easier when living in a place where most offenses are dealt with simply by firing the culprit and sending them home. How's that for easy and keeping it safe? It's true, the living ain't easy in Antarctica with regards to weather. It's a place that is bitterly cold for most of the year and which witnesses some of the worst blizzards and snowstorms on the planet. However, no one in their right mind gets caught out in that weather in Antarctica in any case. And it's a place that is devoid of many other natural disasters, such as hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, or even landslides for that matter. So besides the awful cold, its climate is not as dangerous as at first it would seem. People living in Antarctica are even relatively safe from pollution. Nowhere on Earth is immune from the ravages of human-created pollution and ecological distress, of course, but Antarctica remains as pristine and clean as any place on Earth. Although nowhere as clean as it could be without humans, of course. Take mining, for example, one of the leading causes of environmental devastation and pollution worldwide. It was confirmed in 2014 that mining of any kind would remain prohibited in Antarctica until at least 2048, as per the Antarctica Treaty of 1959. The world community continues to designate the continent as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science, and that means a whole lot less pollution than anywhere else. Perhaps they should do something about curtailing all those cruise ships heading out to Antarctica in increasing numbers, though. It has been said that Christchurch on New Zealand's South Island will be the safest place on Earth in the event of a nuclear war. That is, if the war doesn't start in the Pacific Rim. The same goes for Perth and Western Australia. Not exactly safe should China, North Korea, or Japan get dragged into a nuclear boxing match. People also tout Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, out in the far Pacific Ocean due to it being remote. But much of the Pacific Ocean is already polluted with high levels of radiation, plastic, and other toxic wastes. The same goes for Tristan da Cunha, a speck of an island in the South Atlantic Ocean. It is of course a stretch to say that Antarctica is the safest place on Earth. Iceland, for example, is also touted as being one of the safest places on Earth. It's certainly more temperate than Antarctica, and it certainly does seem a lot more civilized and hospitable place to live when compared to Antarctica. But perhaps it's the extreme remoteness and near desolation of Antarctica that makes it just that much safer in our minds, especially with regard to the really extreme stuff. And it's nicely far off from the likes of Europe and North America, which is more than one can say for Iceland, right? That then is why we think that Antarctica may just be about the safest place on Earth. For more videos just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out our other videos. Thank you very much for watching and thanks for learning.